Masterminds, as you know, we're Grow Global. We're help you grow your business, grow your network, grow your life. We're a diverse group of agents from all across the country, all different skill levels, all different brokerages, and we like to come here and we share. Because what we think is if we all help each other and we collaborate, we can all sell more real estate in less time. We can make more money and have more fun. Now, we have some great free resources I'm going to share with you, and then we're going to get started with our very special guests that we have. And so we have some things for you that are available. If you can see my screen, we do record these on Mondays. But I find that if you show up on Monday, if you can show up live, it's the best because you're going to get a chance to ask questions. You're going to see today the person that we have is a chief marketing officer for a major brokerage. I'm going to be introducing you to in a second, but we do record them so that you can see them. Also, sometimes people say that I'm from Ohio and I talk too fast, like a farmer that I am. And so that you can slow it down going on a slower speed. So we're going to record it. It's on our YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed to it. We also have an Instagram channel where we announce the people and the topics we're going to be talking about on Mondays. And also, we give attaboys. If you did something well, let us know. We'll create a graphic for you. And now you have some third-party documentation that you can share out to your social media. And we'll do that for you and get that all drafted up. We have a great group of virtual agents that help us out with that. On our webpage, we announce who we're going to be having on there. And we also have a whole set of resources that I won't get into across the top here that you can plug into. But under the events tab, we'll tell you what's going on each Monday. And then, of course, we have a Facebook page. But with all of that said, let's get started right away. Appreciate everybody showing up on time. And today on our mastermind, we've got the Chief Marketing Officer from the largest independent brokerage in the world. In fact, I just saw RIS Media ranked it as #1 in transactions and #3 in volume for all of real estate. And so it's a huge thing. And so I want to introduce to you Wendy Forsythe. So Wendy's going to be talking to you today about how to create demand before your listing hits the market and tap into 170 million plus monthly views and potential buyers across Realtor.com, Homes.com, and Google-powered ComeHome.com. Is it Come.com? Wendy will correct me on that and what that's called on there. We're also going to talk about non-exclusive exposure that you're going to give sellers more visibility, competition, and stronger offers while positioning you as the go-to agent for stronger offers. So how are you going to turn every coming soon into multiple opportunities and sell faster for top dollar? And so with that, I want to get out of the way and I want to introduce you to the Chief Marketing Officer for eXp Realty, Wendy Forsythe. Wendy, let me stop my share and get you up here on the screen. There you go.
Good morning, everyone, and happy day after Easter. Thank you guys for all being here live. And for any of you that are listening to the recording, thanks for tuning in. I am excited to be here and talk about marketing listings, which is one of the most important things that we all do as real estate professionals is marketing listings. So one of my favorite topics to talk about.
Amen to that.
That's right. Excited for that. And so the way we're going to have this, Wendy requested that if you have questions as we're going, don't be shy. Yes, she is the Chief Marketing Officer, but she's very down to earth. You're going to be able to ask questions to her. There's a lot of confusion that's going on out there, Wendy, right now in the marketplace we're hearing all these big announcements, right? With the Z word. We don't even say the name of that in our house, but where we're from. But the Z word partnering with somebody and things like that. So what's going on, Wendy, out there in the marketplace with different companies partnering with different Silicon Valley companies? What's happening? What's going on?
Well, there's a lot going on, as you said. And let me just preface that so you introduced me as Chief Marketing Officer, and yes, I am that. But I just want to say that I identify first and foremost as a realtor. I still am a licensed realtor. I started my career selling real estate. I sold real estate for a number of years. I ran a real estate team. I was a broker owner. Like I spent the first part of my career in the trenches with all of you. It is how I think every day is with my realtor hat on. So we're having a conversation as, one realtor to another about just how we go out there every day and serve our clients. And with that frame, I want to frame our conversation from that point of view. I think that there's a lot of noise out there, and some of your buyers and some of your sellers may be hearing some of that noise. And they may ask you some questions about what should I be doing? I heard that there is a partnership with Zillow and coming soon, and Redfin, and Compass has some private exclusive network. Should I be on that? And the challenge is the seller, and most of all of these phrases that I just threw out that sellers might be picking up on when they're thinking of how they should be marketing their home to get the best possible price in the least amount of time with a minimum amount of inconvenience, right? Which are the tried and true tenets that sellers want when thinking of, selling their home. The seller is just getting these little sound bites out there in the news, in the media, and they're just trying to figure out what is relevant to me. So they're looking to you to try to make sense of it all for them. And our viewpoint of this is basic economics 101 as realtors, practicing realtors like from the street, grew up out there doing this. And remember, Glenn Sanford, our founder and CEO, grew up as a realtor. Leo Perea, our CEO, grew up as a realtor. I grew up as a realtor. Many of our others, Holly Mayberry, our chief brokerage officer, grew up as a realtor. So your leadership grew up as realtors. So we know what you all go through every day. The seller is just trying to figure this out. How do I get the best possible price for my home? So the first thing I want to sort of clarify in the conversation is understanding that basic economics, maximum exposure tends to get best price for any given product, right? We all learned that in high school if we took economics, 101, right? Supply and demand. So we believe that we want to get any property out to the most eyeballs as possible so that as many possible buyers know that the property is for sale. That's going to increase the odds of finding the right buyer, increase the odds that that buyer is going to pay as close to possible as what the seller wants for that property. So coming soon. Soon has long been a marketing category for sellers in that sort of window when a seller says, I'm not quite ready for the open market yet, for full MLS. I want to do some painting. I want to do some sprucing up. Like it's sort of like, I want to do some things, right? Which we as realtors typically say like, yes, that's good. You want to get it ready so that it shows as good as possible when the buyers come through the door. So it's that like pre-marketing phase. But there's every intention that the property will go to MLS in a matter of typically days. So the relationship that we created with homes.com, with realtor.com, and with Google was to expose those coming soons to as many eyeballs as possible. Going back to basic economics, right? The more people that knows something is for sale, the better the odds that we'll find the right buyer who will pay the maximum price for it. So 170 million eyeballs plus just on those three platforms a month. So if a seller is asking about coming soon and how would you, if they decide that coming soon is something they want to do, which not a lot of sellers do, and we can circle back to that, but if it is something that they want to do, then you have got a great resource to say, here's how I would market your coming soon to maximize exposure for your property and get you more exposure than any other realtor would that you might be talking to. So any other non-EXP realtor would that you would be talking to. So I said a lot here. So let me sort of pause there and then we can continue to build on this. But that's sort of the basic premise of coming soon marketing and how we think about it is getting maximum exposure for your sellers to maximize their opportunity.
So, Wendy, I love everything that you said on there. I was at a regional rally in Cincinnati, Ohio, and there was a buzz going through the crowd, and there was an announcement that came out. And Holly, who you mentioned earlier, got up on stage and she talked about this partnership with Google. An email had come out. In fact, she was late to the stage because she was dealing with the email actually from the CEO of the company. Tell us a little bit about, because a lot of people, I'm sure, familiar, if you're a real estate agent, you're familiar with the Realtor.com
Hmm.
relationship. Maybe not so
Yes.
much as Homes.com that we have, but what's going on with the Google? What's up with that?
So Google has partnered with House Canary, and House Canary is really sort of powering the search. But what Google is doing is embedding search into Google. So think now of going to the Google page. And I go to Google and I say, I'm looking for homes I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I go to Google and I say, show me, I'm looking for homes in Scottsdale, Arizona. A lot of people do a search like that when they are searching. So
Hmm.
what Google is doing now is they're testing, pulling in properties into that search. So they are partnering with House Canary, who's a third-party aggregator, much like a Zillow, a Homes, a Realtor. So House Canary has all of those listings from all of us, all of the brokerages across the country. So they will pull in those homes and embed those searches into the Google results. And it will look very much like in the Google search page in the result. So you'll see the results there. What's important though about that is that the lead will go back to the listing agent. So if it's your listing, it's your lead. So that is an important part of that. So it's part of why that partnership was really favorable for us. And EXP is the first brokerage that has made this partnership with Google. Now, when you think of eyeballs, so going back to sort of basic economics, who gets the most eyeballs? Well, Google is a game changer when it comes to traffic and eyeballs. So Google is rolling out this search across the country and they're expanding it into markets because they anticipate the ramp up to be so huge. And they tested this first back in December and they tested it in Austin, Texas. And it was such a disruptor when they tested it that the day they turned on the test, the next day, Zillow's shares traded at 9% down the next day. So that was the impact that like Google starting to play in this search had on Zillow. So we know that this is a like tremendous opportunity for us to be early in on this partnership and at the table with Google. So we're very excited about this partnership.
Wendy, what's that going to do with things like Gemini as things become more and more AI, with Gemini being Google's search engine? Because I think it seems like the world's going to go to all video and audio. You're not going to type anything anymore. You're just going to, like on my TV now, I just talk to my remote control and it's a
Yes.
Google TV and it's all plugged into there. Is all of that going to be interconnected? Or people going to be able to just be in their home at the dinner table and yell, "Hey Google"? I better not say "Hey Google" or my phone will answer, but "Hey
Yeah, lots
Google."
of things are going to start to happen here in a second. Gemini, Siri, Claude,
Yeah.
like just me saying that anything could happen amongst my screen here. But voice, you're absolutely right. Voice search is the way of the future. I mean, that is what all the gurus are saying. And you'll see those little microphones pop up like in all of the search bars. And that is absolutely what we like anticipate happening. And that will make things, I think, easier. And it's actually one of the tips that I give to people is start playing with that now, like even on all of the LLMs. So all of the large language models. So you mentioned Gemini. So whether you use Gemini, Claude, Chat, whatever it is, they all have language. They all have audio where you can just talk to them. Start using those just as building that muscle, just building that familiarity. Like when I talk to, I use Claude. I've become a Claude convert. just recently, but like I talk to my Claude. So whatever instructions I want to give Claude, I talk to it now. And just start doing those things because that will help you like learn how to give those instructions in your natural language. It will speed things up. And it will just help you translate that over into all of the other ways you'll start to use voice commands.
One of the things I love that you said, Wendy, that made my realtor senses tingle is when you said the lead goes back to the list agent. I don't know how many other of these Silicon Valley companies where not only did you have to be a part of it, even if you were the list agent, you had to be a premier or something like that to get your leads. Otherwise, they took your listing and took the leads from it and then sold it out to people who were paying them more money than you. And as the list agent, you didn't get
Yes.
it. You're saying these are going to go back to you, the list agent. Did I hear you say that correctly?
Yes. Yes. That is how Google is set up. Is it's your listing, your lead.
I just saw Ryan Scott's face. He looked very excited. And then Tracy Boss Moves
I
Wiggins
see
was throwing some
hearts
hearts, Kim Campbell.
flowing. Yes.
Yes, so that is great news. I know we've got a hard out here in 14 minutes for you, and I wanted to get some action plans for agents, things that they can do, because I'm sure their heads are buzzing right now with what you've said. What are one, two, or three bullet points an agent can say where they're being compliant, right? They're not saying something out of
Yeah.
turn that they can use in their listing presentation or on their social medias, that things that are factual that they can say that are correct to help generate more leads and close more business.
So I'm typing in the chat here a resource for all of you, and it's a toolkit that we put together. I got to put on my glasses to make sure I am typing this for you correctly. So it's exptoolkit.com/coming soon. So I
Wow.
just put it into the chat. So if you
Great.
go there, what you'll find and if somebody wants to pull it up and share the screen, if you guys want to do that, or you can have that there, you will find we put together a like one page slide that explains the three sites, so the realtor.com, homes.com, and comehome.com, that you can put right into your listing presentation, or you can have it printed out as like a one page like PDF, so that if you happen to be out and get a question about this from a seller on your listing presentation, or maybe just at an open house or whatever, you've got an easy sort of one pager resource to explain all of this and how it works to a seller. So that's one resource that you have for you. Also on this toolkit, we have a whole FAQ section for you. So we've got like all the questions broken down, and this is open. So if we have listeners who are non-EXP agents, this is an open website. So these resources are open sourced for you. So we're more than happy to share them. So we've got lots of resources there. I do want to touch on, I think, a really important differentiator that is causing a lot of industry noise, that is a key distinction to understand. And that's the difference between coming soon marketing and private listing networks. Because we're hearing both of those phrases, and those are two very different things. So, a private listing network, and that's what we're hearing Compass talk about, is
Mhm.
like their private listing network. A private listing network is a walled garden. That is where Compass is building a marketing plan by telling sellers, list with us exclusively, and we're going to put your listing in this private listing network where only we as Compass are going to have access to it. We're not going to market your listing on the MLS. We're not going to market your listing on any of the portals. It's only going to be available within the Compass ecosystem. So, the exact opposite of economics 101 that I talked about, where supply and demand would say the more people that know about something, the better the odds of maximizing the price of it. And that is why we've been so opposed to private listing networks, is because it is bad for sellers because it doesn't give maximum exposure to the market. It also doesn't put listing information on MLS. So buyers don't get the history of days on market. They don't get history of price reductions. Like they're not getting history that is really important in understanding pricing and negotiation and sort of free market balance that goes into pricing of properties. That is taken away through this walled garden. So, understanding the difference between those terms, a coming soon is different than an exclusive listing. Now, there are times, and we all know this as practitioners, where an exclusive listing makes sense. There may be privacy issues. You may have a athlete, you may have a high profile professional, maybe a judge, maybe a lawyer, like somebody that for whatever reasons do not want their property marketed or cannot have their property marketed on the open market. We all recognize we've all been involved in those transactions, in our careers. So there's a time and a place for a private exclusive, but it's not a marketing strategy by and large. It's an outlier situation. So to have it come into mainstream as a walled garden marketing approach is why we're so opposed to that, because it is really a control issue by a brokerage. It's not in the best interest of the buyer or seller. So it's really important to understand those two distinctions. So I wanted to make sure that we addressed that.
I thought a good analogy to tell the seller would be like if you were selling your own car, you could put it in your driveway with a for sale sign on it, and the people that drive by are going to see it, or you can put it on the internet on like autotrader.com. Which
Right.
one is going to get you more eyeballs and get you more money? It's going to be the one with more eyeballs, right?
Exactly.
You could
Yes.
sell it in your front yard with the sign in it, but how many people are going to see it, right?
Exactly. Yep. Great analogy.
So I love that. So Kim Campbell had a question for you, and she says, "Is this exclusive agreement with only EXP, but other companies can use it?" Clarify that for us on that.
Is that with Google, Kim?
She was asking about Google, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Other companies will be able to use it. So it's non-exclusive. And that was one of the important parts of this entire relationship. And one of the reasons that EXP didn't join in the Zillow partnership was because Zillow was asking for an exclusive relationship for 3 years. So those companies that joined in on the Zillow partnership, the Zillow Premier product, which they announced, where Zillow is putting coming soon listings on their portal. Those brokerages that did that agreed to only market coming soon listings on Zillow and agreed to only market their coming soons on Zillow for 3 years. And
Wow.
Leo said, no, I'm not
Hmm.
going to commit my agent's listings to one portal for 3 years. You guys, 3 years in our business? That's
Wow.
crazy talk, right? Like, think about how much things change in 3 years. I mean, who knows? And to give Zillow, of all people, 3 years of your listings, we said no, we're not willing to do that. And that's why we went out and created the partnerships with Homes, Realtor, and Google so that we could find more exposure for all of you that wasn't exclusive, that would give us more options and ended up giving you more visibility for your sellers. So we found a better alternative that would give you guys the talk track and the power to combat that out on your listing appointments.
Right. And so House Canary, who's powered by Google, or is it the other way around?
It's
Google
powering
powered,
Google. They're
they're
powered. They're
powering Google.
feeding the listings over to Google.
Got it. So other brokerages could put theirs on House Canary, but you're saying the brokerages that have exclusives with Zillow will not be on House Canary. They won't be on Google.
They will
So,
be able to. Yes, yes, you're right. Yeah.
because they're
Yeah,
exclusive to
they
Zillow for
have
3 years.
committed their listings exclusively to Zillow for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I did not even realize get the impact of that until just now. That is way less eyeballs. Google's going to be the biggest, it is the
Isn't
biggest
that
search
crazy?
out there. That's crazy to
Yeah.
not. Tracy Boss Moves Wiggins just gave the wow emoji face. She said, "Whoa." I
Yeah,
just caught that
it
too. I
blows
hope
me
all of
away.
you out there caught that. And by the
Yeah.
way, we have 5 minutes left with Wendy before she's got to check out. So don't be shy. If you have a question, trust me, someone else has the same question. You're just being nervous to talk to her on here. So you can put the question in the chat, or you can unmute and ask the question yourself. Once Wendy jumps off here, we are going to go through that EXP toolkit coming
Okay.
soon for another 30 minutes after she's gone. And we'll go through the FAQs and things like that. So you guys stick around for that. But does anybody have any questions for Wendy as she gets ready to get out of here? And we'll let her wrap up. If somebody comes on, Wendy, I'll let you know if they have a question. But what else do you want to add here before we let you get out of here?
So well, since you're going to give me the floor, let
Yeah,
me give a couple plugs for things that are going on. Who's
please.
registered for EXPCon in Salt Lake City?
Hmm.
All right, so let me give a plug for Salt Lake City. We have Salt Lake City coming up in October. We are planning an amazing event. This is our marquee event every year. You guys, you want to be there in the room. We are excited about Salt Lake City, like such a tremendous venue. We've got Gary Vaynerchuk as
Gary
our
V.
opening keynote speaker, Gary V. If any of you have been following, which I'm sure many of you follow Gary V, I mean, Gary V is not only the sort of authority on all things sort of digital marketing, but also has very much made, I would say, a pivot in his brand and his voice in very much the authenticity of giving back and sort of like who you are out there. And that is so, so important. So I am really excited about his message and having him kick off our event. We have a bunch of other surprises that we're working on. So get your tickets, get your hotel. The hotels are attached to the convention center. It's going to be much easier to navigate than the last couple of years that we've been in Miami, where things have been so spread out and it's been sort of hard to walk everywhere. You're going to find that I think we're going to like this venue, that's going to feel like it's kind of like all together. So I'm excited about that. So I hope to see you all in person in Miami. And if you don't follow me on social media, follow me at Brand Wendy. I try to give lots of updates on things that are going on in the industry here at EXP, as well as just in general marketing tips and updates. And I just launched a book called Leverage Your X Factor. Take a look at that. All the proceeds of that go to support our EXP Extend a Hand. So if you don't know anything about our Extend a Hand charity, that's our official EXP charity that's available to all of our agents in time of need. So anytime there is a disaster, financial need because of medical, or just anytime somebody needs support, they can apply for a grant through Extend a Hand. Take a look at the book, and it's available on Amazon, and all proceeds go to support our agents and the Extend a Hand
It's a
charity.
great book. We have a copy of it here. So everybody unmute there and give a round of applause or some emoji applause for Wendy Forsythe for taking 30 minutes of her busy day out today to jump on here with us. And we will see you in Salt Lake City, Wendy. Thank you so much for jumping
Awesome. I
on.
hope you guys I hope tag me on social, Kim. I want to let me take a selfie of you. Oh, I can't get it. Wait a sec. Don't cut me off yet. I want
That's
to
great. What a great, I didn't know it was a great idea. That's why you're the chief marketing officer,
Awesome.
having ideas like that. And
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
think,
Wendy,
oh,
getting,
yeah.
getting Gary V is quite the feather in the cap for the
I love
CMO.
Oh,
that.
That is a huge one. The price of the ticket for EXPCon is worth it just to see Gary. You would pay that much
yep.
just to go see Gary somewhere at an
Yes,
event.
you would
Right.
for sure.
That's great.
Awesome. Thank you
Great
guys.
job,
Let you get out
Wendy.
of here,
Thank you
Wendy.
Wendy.
so
Everybody
much.
else, stick
Take
around.
Yeah.
Bye, Wendy.
care.
Thank you
See
very much,
ya.
Wendy.
Bye
So
bye.
Thank you. Bye.
we're gonna go through the toolkit that Wendy provided us,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
we'll do that.
Hey,
We're gonna pull that
hey,
up. Go
hey,
ahead.
Jim, I do have one thing. Wendy talked about the EXP conference. If you happen to be here and you're not with EXP and you want to go, get with
Oh
the
yeah,
whoever invited you on this call, and they can get you a guest pass. We'd love to see you there.
yeah, that's a great idea. Salt Lake City and do a little
It's a
hiking while
good.
we're out there. The weather should be perfect in
Oh
October,
yeah.
and so it should be absolutely beautiful time of year. So we're gonna go. If everybody's good with it, we're gonna go through the actual toolkit. Let's take a look at it
Yes.
right now. Wendy gave us. So let me copy and paste this thing.
And while you're
And
pulling that up, Jim, one of the things that,
yeah,
that started all this in the first place was Compass came out with their private exclusives, and then
Right.
they partnered with Redfin as an exclusive partner, right? And then as a response, Keller Williams and Remax came out and said, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to do our private exclusives and we're going to go with Zillow and do an exclusive thing with Zillow. And of course, that put pressure on EXP to say, hey, why don't y'all do Zillow, right? Well, our founder said, nope, just like Wendy said, we're not doing an exclusive. We're not going to tie the hands of our agents to just one company for 3 years. So they said, how can we get more eyeballs? And that's where they came out with this pre-market exposure plan that actually is a phenomenal response. And I'll bet the other companies have egg on their face after they see what we did.
I hope
I mean,
everybody
think about
caught.
it. All of our executives at the EXP company, they're all quote unquote realtors first.
Well,
That's the key. So they know how realtors act, what realtors want, what realtors' needs are. Whereas the other executive, not to, disrespect anyone, most other company owners, they have no idea how to list or sell a home if the market go bad and they have to go back and list to sell real estate. They wouldn't know how to do it. But
well,
all of
one of
our
those
executives, that's what they wire. They are realtor first, and that's how we get the kind of connection that we do right now.
other companies that partnered with Zillow is owned by Wall Street execs.
Yeah.
It's a hedge
Right?
fund that owns them. They're not
Yep.
realtors. They're
Mm.
running it like a a hedge fund company, and so you got to be careful with that. That's one thing
Well,
that I
well,
do love about.
Keller Williams sold half of the Gary Keller sold half of his ownership to Wall Street. So
Right.
they are in control of him. Believe me, they got controlling interest if they're going to put that much money into a company.
49% of EXP is owned by us, the agents. That's we
Exactly.
have
Right?
quite
We own it.
quite the controlling interest, and then the founder is a realtor and things like that. So let's go through this toolkit. This is I'm going to be transparent here. It's my first time seeing it. I'm glad she shared this with us because look, you're going to be going up against these other companies who are going to be touting how their exclusivity with the Z word company is better. And I'm here to argue with you. It's not. It's not better if you're just closing it off to one portal where people have to come to that. Some people may not go to that. I think people are going to be using AI more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Gemini is going to be a big player in that. In fact,
Yep.
everybody talks right now about ChatGPT. There's probably a good chance you'll see ChatGPT get bought by Google or one of the other players like that. Maybe Elon Musk might be in the running for it, but I think Gemini is a big one to maybe buy ChatGPT. And now you've got all of that under one source right there with that. What were you going to say, Kim? Go ahead.
I say this, I mean, you heading to the right direction, is that, you want to be right now, it's a time to be with all of us here at EXP, because we are always the first movers in every big change that there is, I mean, people talk about it like, oh, we're gonna give you pre-marketing, all these things like Compass promising EXP like, oh, we're gonna do it for our agent. That's simple. That's easy. And we don't have to do exclusive at all. That's why I asked the question earlier. We're not exclusive because we don't need to be exclusive. We just need to get that listing of our sellers out to anyone and everyone.
Right.
That is
It's
service.
This graphic right here is one that everybody can take. You can
Yep.
cut and paste this and put this on your social media today when we get off of this and start the conversation with your clients out there. You should be mass texting it, mass emailing it to everybody you have and putting this out in front of them. And so let's take a look at what it says, right? We're dominating pre-market exposure. through a 3-portal syndication programs for maximum coming soon reach. And you spell it out to your clients. More eyeballs means more money in less time. And people understand that. The public understands that you've got to be able to see it. We have unmatched market visibility. We do not limit your listing to one exclusive platform. More exposure means more potential buyers competing for your home. In fact, talking about Gary Vee, one of the things he said that everybody should be doing at least once a day, if you are in the personal services industry, which we all are, is doing what's called a green screen. You should take this graphic, put it on a green screen on your phone where you've got your little floating head in there, and you point at this and you just read it. And you turn that into a reel and you put that on your social media. You put it on your Insta, you put it on your Facebook, and you put it out there and just read it. Exactly like I'm doing for you right now. 170 million plus combined monthly views. Reach millions of unique visitors across the industry's most trafficked real estate platforms. This is something you can do today. The second you get off here, you don't have to do anything but read it and point as you're reading. There's your little floating head on there. So Homes.com network has 108 million. I had no idea. Realtor.com, 62 million. And then ComeHome.com, which is distributed by Google, is going to tell you how that works and what's coming. And I think that is going to explode when that takes off. We don't have the numbers on it yet, but I believe it's going to blow this 170 million plus out of the water as more and more people go Google. I mean, what do people say when they're searching for something? They say, I'm going to Google it, right? They don't go to Bing. They're not going to any of those. They go to that. And so it's going to be great. Okay, so let's see what else we got on here. It's got Realtor.com. It's got all the stats and the footnotes. So on here, they have FAQs, social shareables right here, and then download the PDF slide so you can have it. And then if you're with EXP, you can customize this in Canva and get your headshot put on it and things like that right inside your own brand that you have. So by the way, everybody, if you're with EXP, make sure you send Wendy a shout out on that on her Insta at brand Wendy on there. So let's go to the FAQs. You guys want to take a look at it? Let's see what they got. Like I said, I haven't seen these, so I'm kind of reading them as we go. All right. EXP Realty pre-market portal syndication FAQs. So coming soon access starting April 15th. EXP agents can place coming soon listings on 3 major portals. This happens at the client's request and must follow local MLS rules. I should have mentioned that because we are all agents in different states and different jurisdictions. Make sure you're checking with your local. If you don't know, ask your broker, okay? And it's going to talk about the 3 places it's there. If a home is being marketed to the public, consumers deserve the opportunity to see it. Our role as an industry is to create the most open and efficient marketplace possible for buyers and sellers. This is not about limiting where listings appear. It is about expanding visibility and giving sellers the widest possible audience while maintaining compliance with MLS rules and local regulations. Leo Pereira, CEO of eXp Realty. And that is right. He's not going to take some short-term gain where it punishes other people in the long run. We're doing what's best for the consumer, and it's going to turn out the best for everybody, right? So why this matters for you and your clients. Sellers get more exposure for their home and are not limited to a single website. That just makes sense. Once we get this out, that's going to make sense. Buyers get access to homes earlier in the process and with portal options access. Okay, so sellers are winning, the buyers are winning, and then you as the agent get a competitive edge with a tool most agents don't have. So what is that? Well, you're going to get more exposure. It's going to help sellers attract stronger offers. You're going to be the hero, right? You're helping sellers make more money. More access helps buyers find homes before competition peaks. That's going to give buyers a chance to, have a fighting chance, right? In the old days, when things were exclusive, just a few years ago, right? There's 17 offers on one house an hour after it went on the market. That wasn't good for anybody. This gives everybody a fair chance. Open markets serve everyone better than closed ones, and I agree.
Yep. Hey, Jim, I got a comment on that.
Go for it.
A lot of people ask, hey, why are we even doing these private listings and pre-listings, and why are we doing it, right? Why not just put it directly in MLS? Well, if an agent puts a property directly in the MLS, the good part is you immediately get exposure to the entire market, right? The problem is sometimes agents, but what happens is it starts a clock. you immediately start a clock on time on market. And so that can be good when you first put something on the market, but the longer it sits on the market, the more people go, well, what's wrong with it if it hasn't been sold yet, right? The next is pricing. When people put a lot of times sellers will put their home on the market, and in some cases they don't price them correctly. They price them over, and then they have to reduce and reduce and reduce. And realtors know that when you get into the reduce game, then that devalues your property a little bit. It's people use that as a negative for you. What a lot of people are going to use this private listings portal for is a testing space. They're going to come in and they're wanting to test price. They're wanting to test the response. They want to see what's happening. Because if you put a property in and at high price and you don't get a good response, then maybe when you do put it on the open market, on the MLS, you go in at a different price. What if you test it and you get a great response? Well, now you know where things are and you don't have that clock start ticking. So let's say you try it for whatever your MLS will allow you to. Like Jim said, right? Check your MLS rules. You test it for those days. Then when you start on your MLS, you have it priced where you need it to be priced aggressively. It starts on day one, and you potentially could get a better result. That's the whole idea behind all this is what's happening.
I agree with it, Rob, and I also believe there is a ramp up to things. Mm-hmm. It's good to ramp things up. It's like before a movie is released. What do they do? They start marketing it a year in advance. And they're showing little clips of it, little pieces of it, and things like that. And they build up the momentum to it so that on opening weekend, it blows it out of the water. And you can do the same exact thing with your listings. Here in Columbus, we'll put it on coming soon with the day we're going to go active. Even if it's ready to go active right now, we don't, because we build up the momentum to it. And then we go active on it on the day with an open house. That's when we go live. And what we're hoping for is multiple buyers to show up at the same time. Now you're wondering, why would you want to do that? Well, because if I got 4 or 5 couples in there that are looking at the property, it builds up a FOMO, a fear of missing out, right? They're like, well, they want it and they over there want it and we want it. We better come in strong with our offer. And it has really helped push the ability to get more money in a faster amount of time, because buyers can't wait as long as they need to. They need to get in there and take a look at it. And the coming soon gives them a chance to preview the home. They've already driven past it and through the neighborhood. They've scoped it out. They've seen the satellite photos, and they're ready to go when they come in. By the time they show up, it's a second or third showing. They've already done all the research on the property, and they know where they want to be. And if they show up and on that grand opening, there's, the driveway's full, there's people parking up and down the street to come in there, the house is going to sell that weekend. And that really helps your seller too, because they don't have to spend, a month or 2 months of taking showings. They can get it sold the first weekend, and it's worked really great for that.
Lily has a question.
Yeah.
And
Tony does too. Yep.
Go ahead, Tony.
Well, mine's actually more of a statement to just agree totally with putting things, whether it's in the coming soon or private listing network of your MLS. It's a great way to build anticipation. Mm-hmm. And one thing I do suggest is, like for me, I'm more of an investor. So when I'm flipping a house, I don't put coming soon in October. I just put coming soon, because the moment you put a month on and then you're having to, change that or push it back, it starts making it look a little flaky. So that's just one little tip I would recommend, is just put a blanket coming soon and don't put an actual month or day, unless like, hey, I'm a week or 2 out and it's going to be going on the market that day. But otherwise,
according to your MLS rules, Tony, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
According to your local MLS rules, because every MLS is different as far as how they're handling it. So great stuff.
Correct.
Great. Love it. So here's 3 things to know.
Well, hold on. Lily had a question too, Jim.
Go ahead, Lily. Go ahead.
Lily?
Yeah, do the sellers need to agree with the coming soon status or not?
Of course.
I guess.
Yes.
I guess if you were to talk to a seller like, hey, I'm gonna do A, B, and C with you, I don't know how a seller would say, no, let me think about it. You know what I mean? I'm
Well, you say
thinking out
you
loud.
sell,
Well,
you
Lily,
sell it as the
let's play with
plan.
this.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
plan. This is what I'm going to do, and this is why.
Okay, so because if they have to agree, so that means that we have to put it like in the special stipulations of the listing agreement.
Yes, it needs to be in writing. Yes.
Yeah. Your MLS will have a specific portion in your listing agreement that talks
Yeah.
about the coming soon status on it. So the thing is, as agents, we need to keep coming up with different things to talk about to our clients, because what they think we do, and we know this is not true, what they think we do is we punch a couple things into the computer, we stick a sign in the yard, and then we get paid tens of thousands of dollars. Well, we all know that that's not true. And so we need to have something to talk to them about a marketing strategy. How many times have you gone to a listing appointment and your client has said, well, what is it you're going to do to sell my home? And then here's where you're going to lay it out. Here's my strategy. Tell me what you think. I've had great success doing this. We're going to start off with coming soon. We're going to build up the anticipation. We're going to market it just like a movie does, right? You use those analogies. And I'm also going to make it available everywhere on the internet, not just in one specific website like some brokers do. Some brokers, people are going to have to go to that specific website to see it. This is going to be everywhere. It's going to be syndicated everywhere we go, including Google. And when someone goes to Google and they're looking for a home in your area, there's a chance your home will come through. And there's the lead that comes in from that is going to come directly to me. So the person who knows your house best, which is me, besides you, but me as the agent, is going to know it way better than some buyer's agent bringing them in, is going to be the one who's going to be taking that call and talking to them about your property. And I'm actually going to be not just marketing your property, but I'm going to be selling it. I'm not just a realtor who just puts it in the MLS and sticks a sign in the yard. I'm actually going to actively sell the home. I'm going to overcome objections, and I'm going to close to get them and you an offer in writing from them. That's what I'm going to do different. Now, how does that sound versus just right to a seller?
So excited. If I'm a seller, I'm listening to you saying that. I'm like, oh my God, you do more than any of my agents
That's
out
right.
there have ever done.
Where
So
do I sign?
Right. And so that's how you answer the question. And you lay out these graphics and things like we have here. And you explain to them, we're going to go for number one, 3 things to know. Maximum exposure equals, and you're talking, you can say this to the seller. Look, maximum exposure means maximum value for you, right? We're going to take your home away, not just on one portal like other brokerages. We're going to put it in unlimited places so that everyone can see it. Because the more eyeballs, wouldn't you agree, Mr. Seller and Miss Seller, that the more eyeballs that see your property, the better chance we have of getting a higher price? Wouldn't you agree with that? Of course, right? That makes sense. You can use the car analogy if you want. Some brokers are planning on, just like you, if you were selling your car, putting it in the front yard and putting a for sale sign on it. Could it sell? Yeah. But wouldn't you get more money for your car if we marketed it everywhere, on all websites, all over the internet, and have a for sale sign on it in the front yard? We're not doing either or, we're doing and, okay? We also believe that buyers should not be forced to only one platform for searches, right? Buyers want to just get on the internet. They want to go to Google. They want to search and have the houses pop up. Multi-platform marketing services serves clients better than exclusivity. It just does. And then, I believe you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you deserve the widest possible audience and the latest search tools available. That's what I believe, including AI. That's your value-added proposition that you're bringing to the table as an agent. As AI comes on more and more, we're going to have to justify why we're earning these big checks. We're going to have to. This is it. When they ask you what you do, here's your punchline right here. Here's your bullet points. This is what I'm going to do for you that you cannot do for yourself. Okay. All right. You guide the client decision. You're going to present all marketing options clearly to every client. So here's your choices of what we can do. Maybe they don't want to do it coming soon. Maybe they want to do an exclusive. For example, if they are, a professional athlete, or they're, law enforcement. A lot of times law enforcement don't want to have strangers going through their house, right? People that have, had to deal with bad people, right? They want to be private. Lots of different privacy reasons, right? There's sometimes divorces don't want to be marketed on the open market. Anyways, so you're going to present all the marketing options clearly to every client. You're going to explain the benefits and trade-offs of coming soon strategies, the pros and the cons, right? And then the client makes the final call based on their goals, which is just what Lily was asking about. They get to decide, but I'm bringing to you choices. What do consumers want? They want choices. They want options. They want it explained clearly so they feel like they're in control. So you're a trusted advisor versus a salesperson, because nobody likes
It's
salespeople.
gonna be. I have a question out loud
Yes.
for all of us here. So in Georgia, let's just say these pre-marketing time, let's just say somebody really loved it and they want to buy it, right? How are we gonna deal with FMLS or MLS right now? That's the next question. I wonder if anybody have a question. For example, in Atlanta, Georgia, I mean, you have to put in your listing agreement in such a way where this will work because they probably will expect you to go inside the MLS, but they're gonna charge you 0.0012% of the sales price. So if we do it this way, I wonder what would happen if we were to sell it before it hit the FMLS.
An
Does
interesting
anybody?
question. We're going to see a lot of
You see what I'm saying,
states
Rob?
have different
Yeah,
rules.
that,
Here
that's
in
going to be a
Columbus,
local thing. Yeah.
It's
yeah,
gonna
in
be a
Columbus,
local.
you cannot show the property no matter what, right? It's clear cooperation with everybody. So if it's in coming soon status, no one's allowed to go through it until it goes live. And so that's why we do it in open house, so that there isn't one person getting in ahead of the other. They can trample in a stampede if they want. They can all come in, show up at the same time, noon on Saturday. Here we go, baby. Come get it, right? Let's keep moving on. We got 8 minutes here. Number 3.
So wait, so this
Go ahead.
pre-marketing exposure, it's just for look only, right, Jim? It's nothing can be conducted, right? Am I clear
No,
on
you
that?
could sell it. No, you could sell it.
Yeah, if somebody wants to buy a curb offer, they could put a curb offer. In Ohio, they could do a curb offer if they want, but they're not allowed to go through it until it actually goes active. Otherwise,
Oh,
unless you're doing an exclusive one. So, but it varies from MLS to MLS. I know some places that allow them to go through during coming
Yep.
soon.
Question,
Here,
I
the
would
question.
agent
like.
gets fined. You get fined $5,000 as an agent in Columbus on your first offense if you let somebody come through. Like if your buddy, hey, I'm friends with Rob, and he's got a buyer, and they're only in town today, and it's in coming soon status, and he wants to go through it with them. If I get caught, it's $5,000 first offense.
Wow.
Again, check with your local rules.
Check with your local rules on how the coming soons work.
Okay.
So this is one piece of a broader innovation strategy. We syndicate listings across multiple platforms and are not exclusive. Any other portals may participate. You need to make sure you hammer this down with the sellers so they understand this is a benefit to you. We're not limiting you. Those guys are. Okay.
Yep.
Additional training toolkits and features for your listing and buyer presentations will roll out in the coming weeks. Great. They're already going to do the graphics for us and stuff. So what do we got? What about priority placement and analytics on these portals? Our partnerships will include comparable features across all platforms. You get better market intelligence than any single portal offers, and details will be shared as any additional portals launch. Okay. So there we go. I really love the part about getting your own lead.
Right?
That's great. I mean, think about that. How many places have you heard? And I know Zillow for real. If you weren't paying the premier status, you're the listing agent, and they're sending your lead, and they're selling it to 3 buyers agents out there. Your own lead coming in. That I never liked that. Anyways, we have an agent asked about Zillow Listing Showcase. EXP is actively listening to agent feedback on all portal relationships. We reassess our strategy based on what agents and clients need. Our core commitment remains maximum access across multiple platforms.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does this replace the MLS listing process? No. This is for coming soon only. Agents must still follow MLS rules. We said that a couple times. And this expands your reach. It does not replace the MLS. Okay. Is this an exclusive deal with these 3 portals? No, this is not exclusive. Any portal can receive EXP coming soon listings on equal terms. So we're not going to keep it off of KW.com. We're not going to keep it off Remax.com. We're still going to syndicate to anybody that wants it. Maximum exposure, which is great. So how do you get started? On April 15th, Use EXP Access by Zenlist to upload your coming soon. Use it to distribute coming soon listings at your client's direction. Check your local MLS rules before activating a coming soon listing. So there we go. Visibility by the numbers. So we don't limit access, we expand it. That's for everybody. This is available. Again, we'll go back. This is exptoolkit.com/coming soon. Okay. So you'll be able to get into this and check this out. So hopefully everybody was glad they jumped on here today, got something
Yeah.
out. And so
Gives
yes,
us a
Andy,
new new feather in our cap, right?
yes, I'm going to put it in the chat one more time because it was a little further up. There it is, exptoolkit.com/coming soon. And so if everybody who's on here, you can download the chat right now, just so you know. If you're on a desktop, you go up the three little dots above the chat where it says more, you hover over, you click the three dots, and right underneath that it says save chat. It'll save on your notepad on your desktop. And or you screenshot it or whatever. Young people probably screenshot it. That's it. But so we're going to wrap up. We're going to be back next Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have another great one for you. We're going to keep having awesome guests coming on. You know, last week we had an amazing team builder on. This one we had the chief marketing officer of the #1 independent brokerage in the world, who also just did the most transactions according to RIS Media for a brokerage. #1 transactions, #3 in volume. Again, actually, this wasn't the first time they've been #1 a couple years in a row now. So great stuff, everybody. Good stuff today. Worth coming. Hopefully.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to we'll stop the recording and we'll say bye to everybody as we're jumping off.